Okay, guest number 2 is the only undefeated coach in the Metro East from the Dupo Tigers, Coach Zach Klaustermeier. Good to see you, Coach.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Is that a real stat? Is that real?
Yeah,
I think so.
You're the only
Holy
team
cow.
that's undefeated. We've done some pretty extensive research, and we don't think anybody else is undefeated.
Honestly, I did not know that.
East St. Louis has a couple losses.
Right, yeah.
Everybody else, Central has a loss.
Yep.
Right. We could double check that here in a minute.
Okay, cool.
Why don't you double check that, KP?
I will.
So Kevin Powell is going to stick around, and also joining us for this interview is one of our key committee members, Norm Sanders, friend of the show. Thanks for joining us, Norm.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And I forgot to mention that you're also a Dupo alumni, so there was no way you were going to miss this.
No, I've been following the last few seasons with Zach being there, and he's done a hell of a job.
Yep.
And I graduated in 1980, so 1979 was the last time I played football actively in my life, but it was a very memorable experience at Dupo.
So just to make sure, you don't have any eligibility left, do you?
There's none, and it wouldn't matter if I did because I wouldn't be much good to him. So,
all right. Well, Zach, you are 5-0, man, riding high on this wave. Deegan Prater, you got a stud at quarterback who's throwing touchdowns and making picks as a free safety on your team. What else do you love about your team? Or should we talk about Deegan for a second?
I mean, I think he gets talked about a lot. We can obviously talk about him as much as you guys want. This is probably collectively the best team I've had as a team. We replaced some guys on the offensive line from last year. That was kind of the quote unquote scary part coming in. Skill-wise, we've got 6 or 7 wide receivers that we're not afraid to throw the ball to. We've got a couple guys that can run the football real well. Obviously, we knew what we had with Deegan coming back, and so the defense has been a huge, upward tick this year. We are tackling so much better than we had in previous years. That had been our big problem. Not necessarily our schematic, defensively. We were doing a good job of getting there. It was just being willing to actually hit stuff with our face, and we're willing to do that now, and makes a huge difference.
Do you feel like it's your team, your culture, your program now?
Yeah, I think so. We finally have the couple of classes that had the previous coach. They're gone, and not that they didn't do a great job, because they did. But it's only guys now that have only listened to me talk, and our coaching staff that we have currently, and I think that makes a big difference. Obviously.
And your strength and conditioning program.
Yes.
And your everything.
Yep.
So this is year number 4 for you as the head coach?
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay, so this is your program, and you feel like, is the program where you want it to be? Is it where you thought it would be right now?
I mean, yeah. I feel like, I say this every week when I get interviewed and stuff, but there's always stuff that we can do better. I mean, it's never perfect. We have not won a game in a perfect manner yet. It's not like we've won a game 60-0 yet. You know what I mean? So there's always things that can get better. But I think progressively, as we've gone over the 4 years, yes, I think, like I said, this is the best we've looked as a team, and it's been baby steps, that's for sure. So it's good to see.
You had one really close win, week number 1, a 3-point win over Bayless, and then you knock Principia by 22 points. Pretty big win over Pinckneyville. 7 points over Westland, 20-13, and then this last weekend, 19 points over Carlisle. So the margin of victory has been pretty great. Big one coming up this weekend, Redbud, and then Chester, Sparta, Wood River. Mm-hmm. And what are you looking for this weekend?
I mean, we just have to go and do us, to be honest with you. It's a team that I feel like on paper we probably are more talented than just on paper. As you guys know, 1A football, that doesn't mean anything. We have to go and execute and do our thing. We have to execute on offense. We have to tackle on defense. Redbud's young, but they play hard. And, Coach Luck is a great coach. He does a good job. We're at Redbud. I don't know. Norm may know. I don't know the last time a Dupo team has won at Redbud. So we have to do our thing. We have to go in and we have to execute. And it's not an easy task, that's for sure.
Hey, Norm, this question's for you. What does Zach Klaustermeier mean to the history of Dupo football? Is it too soon to say?
No, he's already got 2 playoff appearances, which is doing something at a place that's lost their last 8 playoff games. And doesn't have a playoff win since 1994. So just the fact that he's got them winning and back in the playoffs and 5-0, I mean, that says a lot. And the town's even smaller than when I lived there, but I think there was always a really good football tradition and a culture there, no matter who was coaching, because it kind of branched out through Jerry Germain and Gary Mauser and John Dobb and some other coaches have had some success there. But what I like about what Zach has done is they just haven't made any excuses, and they realize they're fighting an uphill climb against several teams, even in their own conference. So they've just kind of buckled up and went out and taken care of business here. So that it's kind of a blue collar work ethic that you love to see.
Is that how you would describe your team? Blue collar?
Yeah, absolutely. We come from a place with not much money, and a lot of kids are working and paying for their own stuff. And it's a battle that we fight all summer long. Even during the season, I've got kids leaving practice early to go to work, and it's not ideal. Obviously, like you want them at everything, but who am I to say as their coach that they can't go work?
You excuse that.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is. And Norm made a good point as well. I know I've explained a couple times on the show that we actually play up in football. So the conference is 2A, 3A, because we are the smallest 1A school in the Cahokia, and is it Oakville doesn't play football, so we swap with them in the conference, and so we get to play football in
the bigger conference.
The bigger conference.
So you're playing 2A and 3A teams,
Correct.
even though you are a 1A school.
I believe Carlisle is the only other 1A.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And do you feel like this gives you a leg up toward the end of the season and potentially in the playoffs because you've played tougher competition than 1A?
I mean, it would if we wouldn't run into Camp Point Central or Althoff in the first round.
Okay.
But yeah, we've set ourselves up this year, hopefully, knock on wood, to finish strong and to hopefully get a matchup that we can at least go and play a football game.
Okay. Althoff is currently ranked third in our small school ranking, and Dupo, you are currently ranked 8th.
Excellent.
In our small school rankings.
We're good with that.
You feel good about where you are right
absolutely.
now?
I mean, we're, like I said, 1A school, 250 kids. This is the most amount of kids I've ever had. We have 40 kids this year. I think 14 of them are freshmen. So, I mean, we dress 33, 34 kids on a Friday night. But, no, I mean, we're definitely in the best light we've been in a long time, I think.
40 kids overall in the program.
Correct, yeah.
How many kids came out for football your first year?
I think I started the year with 25. We dressed 24 for our playoff game.
Okay, very good.
So
good for you.
Yeah.
All right, Norm, what else you got for him?
So, Zach, I looked it up today, and according to the current IHSA classifications, you're one of only 10 unbeaten teams in 1A, the teams that are classified with that enrollment. So that's a hell of a deal right there.
Right, that's awesome.
And if you can go on to win one playoff game this year, it would come 50 years after Dupo got their first state playoff win in 1975, which was the year they started the football playoffs.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
How cool!
I didn't
cool
know
would
that
be?
stat. Yeah.
Have you seen a lot of alumni out at the games?
Yes, we have.
The numbers are growing.
Yeah, a lot. Last week was our homecoming game against Carlisle. There certainly were a lot of alumni in the stands. That's for sure.
Are you getting email?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I get some emails from some of the old coaches, and I'll see old players and stuff in the community here and there, and they stop me, and it's very cool, very cool. A lot of parents that used to play and stuff like that. So.
Feel like a celebrity?
No, it's a pretty small town, but it's neat still, and I came from Bafalto, which was bigger, obviously, and a lot more eyes. But I think the football history in Dupo is what makes this so special. Not being very good since the early 2000s is we're almost 20 years removed now, so it's kind of wild. Coach Akra took them to the playoff in 2012, I believe this was the last time, before we went in 22. And before that, I think it was 04, I believe, was the last one before 2012. So, I mean, we're looking at 21 years since that team. So, it's neat to be relevant again, that's for sure.
KP will give you some good advice on how to handle celebrity. He's helped many.
He's our local
He's helped many a young celebrity throughout his mentorship in life. Okay, well, what are you doing also at Dupo besides coaching football? Aren't you teaching?
Yes,
what
sir.
are you teaching?
Yep. So I'm in the school every day. I teach. I have the weight room, so that's pretty neat. When I started, I had two PE classes as well, with 4 weight room classes. Now we have 7 hours so we have a full schedule of weight training. So actually we have another PE guy that is also teaching one of the weight training classes. So all of that programming and everything is I do. I have done all that by myself, with clinic help, and obviously like that's all stolen. I'm not reinventing the wheel when it comes to weight training, obviously. I think it is much more organized. I think there's a lot more going on now that we've been doing it the last 4 years, that's for sure. I've heard a lot of positive talk about what that class used to look like versus what it is now. And, obviously that kind of being my baby is pretty neat. So
Who are your mentors? You're a young guy.
yeah.
I mean, how old are you?
I'll be 30 in March.
Okay,
So-
you're a very young guy. You haven't been in this head coaching game for very long.
Right.
Who are the mentors? Who are the people that you are talking to talk you through this early part of your career?
Mm-hmm. Two of the guys that I talk to the most, Nick Smith at CM. He was my linebackers coach and one of my baseball coaches while I was at CM, and then he now has come back and is the head coach there. Mike Parmentier, I coached for him for a long time, and then I played for Justin Winslow, so I do talk to Winslow every now and then still. But Parmentier and Nick are my two go-to guys. I was lucky enough to be around Coach Reinhardt for a long time too as well, which he's forgotten more football than I even know. He's at Alton now helping out, so very lucky, only 30 years old, to be around quite a few guys that have been in the game for a long time. I think Mike is already in the Hall of Fame, but if he's not, he will be. And Rick already is, so it's pretty special. I've gotten to work with two guys that are, already at that caliber for sure.
I had the 3 Parmentiers on the show.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, we
And
a good
all
time.
3?
Yeah, we had all 3 on the show. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay, so I haven't been to see your team yet. I would like to come see you eventually. Once tennis ends for me.
Yeah.
What can I expect to see when I come see you? I know you've described the mentality as blue collar and hard hitting and this and that, but what am I going to see? Single wing?
No, we're not a single wing team. I would say, pass principle wise, we're pretty air raid principle wise, but we do run the football. We like to run the football. Deegan's good at running the football, so if I was trying to just let him sling it around, that would be doing him a disservice. Though he is good at it. As I said, we have 2 or 3 good running backs as well. Our offensive line is pretty mean as well. We do a lot of read option stuff with him. It really drives me insane. All these NFL announcers now that everything's a zone read, everything's not a zone read. So just so we know that, we do a lot of gap stuff, a lot of zone stuff, a lot of different things. Really, we're just trying to get our athletes the football as fast as possible. Really, that's what we're trying to do. And like I said, we've got 5 or 6 receivers, skill guys, that I trust all of them to have the football at any point in time in the game. So it's a nice cupboard to have, that's for sure.
Well, like Coach said earlier, it appears to me you get the ball spread throughout the field.
Yeah, we do. I brought it because I wasn't sure, but we have 8 guys with catches on the year so far. So I mean, that's 1A football. That's a lot.
I think kids like that too.
Yeah,
I think kids like to be involved.
For sure.
If they know that just 2 or 3 kids are going to get the ball
Right.
over and over and over, it's not as much fun.
And that's how we have been the last couple of years. 2 years ago, we had Nick Phillips. He had like 45 catches. Last year, it was 10 Stags. He had, I think, 45 catches. This year, I've got 3 guys with 10 or more, and they're all right around that 200 to 300 mark yards-wise. So it's challenging, I think, that we present for defenses, because who are you going to cover? Who are you going to take away? That's fine. We'll throw it to the other kid. And obviously they're high school kids. Like, they still get a little upset when they're not getting the football. And we haven't completely gotten that out of the program yet. But for the most part, they just want to win, and it's awesome. I had one of my receivers a couple weeks ago. You know, he's like, I can see him yelling at me from on the field, and he's like animated and hands and everything, and I couldn't understand what he's saying. And finally, we had like a timeout or something. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? And he's like, he just like puts his arms up like this, and he's like, let me block, let me go get this guy. I can beat this guy. And I'm like, wow, okay, we have a 16-year-old kid receiver that wants to block. And I was like, holy cow, light bulb. Like,
what's the kid's name?
This is awesome. Brady Portell. He plays slot for us and plays some safety. And he's a little rocket on the field, that's for sure.
Awesome.
So,
how many seniors do you have on offense?
Starting on offense, we have 1, 2, 3, 5.
Okay.
5 seniors that start on offense.
On defense,
4 or 5.
Okay.
So
not the whole team.
Yeah, it's senior, junior, and then there's 2 sophomores that start.
Have you seen any carryover in the other sports? I felt like there were times when I was at schools where the football team was excellent. I felt like that sometimes that attitude bled into the other sports. Are you seeing it? Are you seeing kids walk with pride maybe in some of the other sports at Dupo?
I think we're getting there for sure. They made a couple changes with the basketball program, and I think that helped a little bit. Baseball program has been trending positively. Track has been doing really well lately, specifically our girls. But I still think, and I say this on every show that I'm on, when your football team is good, the rest of your school year seems to go better. And it's not because football is the most important, but it's the biggest and it's first. And I think, when kids go to college and whatever, like, for instance, like I was the same age as those Rochester groups that won like 6 in a row or whatever it was, crazy. And, there were seniors on that group when they went to college, like, can say, hey, like, we never lost a football game in high school. You know what I mean? And people are like, oh yeah, you're from so-and-so where their football team's really good, right? And that was part of my pitch when I got the job, actually, was, like, I'm by no means saying football is the most important.
I think it is the most important in a lot of ways. When it's responsible for 96% of the revenue in the NCAA, that makes it more important.
Yeah.
That makes it more important than gymnastics and swimming and tennis and cross country. Those sports are not as important financially. Now, to the athletes that play them,
right? Exactly.
I'm not going to say it's not more important to those athletes that play them.
Correct.
But to the athletic department,
right,
it is more important.
Well,
we can't act like it's not.
Yeah, and you have a team, for the smaller D1s, for instance, Eastern, Carbondale, which Carbondale is good right now, but some of these smaller programs that go and play the big teams and get paid $3 million to just go take a butt whooping, you know what I mean? That $3 million is paying for the entirety of every other sport at the school. So, I mean,
it's important.
Yeah, it is important.
It's important.
Yeah.
Okay. What's next? What's next for you?
Man, I don't know. Hopefully we, like I said.
Are you having fun?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's different for me because in the 4 years, we haven't played very many teams where, like I said, on paper, we were better than them. And I don't say that out loud very often. And so to go into games where you're like, man, like, we don't have to give them our A-plus game to win this game. And to me, that is almost more nerve-wracking because it's like, oh, gosh, what can we, what are we going to do to give us adversity here, and how do we overcome it, and that kind of thing. And so far, so good, knock on wood. So, like I said, tough one this week at Redbud. Very tough one the following week at Chester. So,
all right. Well, you got to focus on the Musketeers.
Yeah.
This week, that's where you got to take care of business at hand.
Absolutely.
KP's guaranteed an undefeated season. So just to let you know.
I appreciate it, but
sorry, Coach, I wasn't trying to jinx it.
No. I appreciate it. I hope that's true. That would be Norm. What would the town do if that happened?
That would be a major accomplishment. When I was a senior, we were 8-0 going into the last game and lost to Assumption for the conference championship and didn't even make the playoffs. So it still just stings because we lost 8-7. But it's like now everybody gets in at 5-4. So it's like I think we would have gone a long way that year.
Wait, so you were 8-1 and you didn't make the playoffs?
Both teams were undefeated. And the last game of the year was at Assumption when that was still open in East St. Louis. There, it's a prison now, but that was the field that we played on, and we were up 7-0 the whole game. our quarterback was injured, so we had basically like running a wildcat. They knew we weren't going to be able to throw, but we had that lead, and they went down and scored really late, and there was a controversial 2-point conversion where they really didn't get in, but the ref said they did, and that was the end of it. And back then, that was just the way the playoffs were. I think there were 16 teams in 6 classes, maybe only 5 classes in the whole state that got in. So you had to be undefeated if you were independent or win your conference, and that was it. So
Wow.
it was pretty bizarre at that time. But I still, if I see somebody in a maroon jersey, or I drive through Dupo and see Dairyland open and see the lights down there below the bluffs, I know that there's some good memories there.
All right, Norm. Well said, and thanks so much for joining us tonight. Appreciate hearing you. Thanks for all your work on the committee. Appreciate it.
Hey, good luck the rest of the way, Zach, and thank you guys for having me.
Appreciate it, Norm. Thank you.
Zach, good luck. We'll be keeping up with you. We'll have you on again at the end of the season.
Absolutely.
How's that sound?
Absolutely. I appreciate
Good
it.
luck, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.